This is would be what they consider Dune Part 3. This will be spoilers, and it will tell you what's going to happen in the next uh, movies if they make them. So it starts off like the plot of the third movie starts off where the second one ends, where they're fighting, and then he defeats the Emperor. 12 years into Paul's reign, Adreni's reign as Emperor, it fast forwards to the future. He grapples with the unintended consequences of his role as the fervent Messiah. His jihad has resulted in the deaths of billions, and struggles to maintain control of the Bene Gesserit and the Spacing Guild, and the Telexiclu. You work together to destabilize his rule. One of the key elements in their plan is to introduce the introduction of a clone version of Duncan Io, Paul's childhood mentor, giving him the guild navigator Edric, and made by the Texacu. This Duncan, as known as Height, is intended to sow doubts and discord into Paul's inner circle. Meanwhile, Paul's concubine, Chin, becomes pregnant. Despite the attempts by others to prevent it due to fears of the child's fate. So, the main character, Paul, and the romantic lead, she gets pregnant. The one that lives on the Dune planet, and her name is Cheyenne. Olmint, one of Paul's former Freelink death commandos, reveals evidence of the Furman conspiracy against Paul. Olmint gives him Raph, Telex, and his servant Blex, who, like a record machine, can remember faces, dates, and details. Paul attempts reluctantly seeing the strands of the plot, and soldiers attack conspirators. Others set off an atomic weapon called a stone burner, purchased by the Texaclu, that destroys the area that blinds Paul. Bijaz, actually an agent of Telexaclu, uses a specific humming intention to implement a command that will impel Hyde to attempt to kill Paul under certain circumstances. Chelny dies in childbirth, and Paul's reaction to her death triggers Hyliant, who attempts to kill Paul. Hyliant, Goala's baby, reacts against the programming of Duncan's full consciousness is recovered, simultaneously making him independent of Texacle's control. Cheyenne gives birth to twins, who become into the world fully conscious, with the Cactus Hatterack-like access to ancient memories. The son, a total surprise for Paul, who had only foreseen the birth of their daughter. Sakal offers to revive Cheyenne as a Goala, but Paul refuses to submit, considering the possibility that the Texaco might program Cheyenne in some diabolical way. The face dancer then threatens the infant with a knife to force Paul to attempt, and also demand all of his Chamo holdings in return. By successfully escaping the ocular trap and setting the universe on a new path, Paul is rendered completely blind. Yet he can kill Psych-Tau with an accurately aimed dagger due to the psychic vision from his own perspective. Later that evening, Bijaz approaches Paul and repeats Psych-Tau's offer, but is killed by Duncan on Paul's order. Now, periodically and physically blind, Paul chooses to embrace the Furman's tradition of a blind man walking alone in the desert. winning the fealty of the firman for his children who inherit his empire. Paul leaves his sister Alaya, now romantically involved with Duncan, as a regent for twins whom he has named Leto and Garemina. Alana orders the execution of Edric, Mohammed, and others involved in the plot against her brother, also against his wishes that none of them should be hurt. Alaya spares Princess Rowland, who is grief for Paul, has renounced her loyalty to the Bene Gesserit and vowed to dedicate her life as a teacher to Paul's children. Duncan notes in the irony that Paul and Cheyenne's death have enabled them to triumph against their enemies. The Spacing Guild and the Bene Tarax have been discredited. Aran's defection from the Bene Gesserit removes the Sisterhood's last lever against the Adrenes, and Paul have escaped defection by walking into the desert as a man while regenerating Firmin support for the Adrenes line.